Okay, let's do a new project today. What we're going to do, I'm going to make a dedicated grinding tool to sharpen drill bits. Now I have the jig that I want, that I've researched, watched a lot of videos on. It's the General, I believe, 850 grinding jig. I got it on order, and that'll be several days before it gets here, so there'll be a big gap in between doing this. But I want to go ahead and get the motor and the grinding wheel finished. I already did a prototype on it, and it's going to work. I just made a mistake that I've got to correct. So let me show you what we got. Now, long-time viewers remember my old Frankensteiner Harbor Freight 4x36 grinders. Alright, both of them went out, and the problem with these things is these bearings go out in here, and it costs more to fix them than they're worth if you can even get the parts. And the bearings up here, bearing went out on this one and on this one on the other one. So what I've done, I'll try to put a card up there and show you when I made the homemade sharpening tool. Use this one. All I did, I took and removed the top, cut everything off, and just left the base, which is what this is right here. So on the base, what I'm going to do, and this is an old grinding wheel off of one of my bench grinders. Never throw anything away. I kept these, and this one is really flat here. I put it over on the granite block and checked it, and it's flat. It's not over here, so that's going to be to the inside. What I'm going to do is mount this on here, so I have a tool to mount my jig when I get it, and we'll have a tool just for grinding drill bits. Now the jig itself, I think I paid like $18.75 or something like that on eBay, which I spend more than that in drill bits in a month's time, I guarantee you. Now this is mainly for larger bits. I have a little home sharpening system that works great for smaller bits, but anything above a 1/4 inch, I've got to have some kind of jig. I cannot do it by hand. I've tried and tried and tried, and I can't get the hang of it. I know a lot of you guys can, but I can't do it. So anyway, what we're going to do, this is, being a Harbor Freight Chinese tool, is a metric size. I don't know what size it is, but the closest thing to it is 9/16. Now, I've taken a piece of aluminum and made me a shim for the back. That was one of the mistakes I made in the prototype. And in this shaft, there's a little shoulder. That's going to sit right there. And then the wheel, I've got a little mark here to know which side's out. It's going to mount right there. And this little insert in here it's either lead or babbitt. It's a little bit too small. I want a tight fit, but I don't want to drive it on there. If I drive it on there, I will bust this wheel. I'll crack it. Ask me how I know that. So what I'm going to do, I've got the Dremel tool out. I'm going to set it up, put this in the vise over there, and take this little sanding wheel and just barely take some material off the center of this until it'll fit on there. And then this piece here is a piece actually off of the grinder when it was a belt sander, and that'll fit on there, and the set screw will hold it all together. Alright, so let's set this up in the vise and get out the Dremel tool, and we'll get to going on it. Now I can't really get the camera around here to show you, but just going to take the Dremel very carefully, take some, because this is real soft, The prototype one, I took my a set of metal burrs and went in there. But that thing is very, very, very aggressive, and I cut it too big on the original one. And I've got several of these who come off of old grinders that I've had, bench grinders I've had over the years. So we're gonna try a little sanding disc. When I get that done, we'll see if it fits. Alright, I drilled a hole bigger in here so it'll clear it a little bit maybe. Now let's drive it on down on there and see what happens. Okay, it's coming on out now. Yeah, that feels much better. Now before I hit it anymore, let's see what we got. Okay, it's still off a little bit. If we can get it driven down on that shim against that shoulder, I think it'll be square. Alright, that's pretty good ways off right there. Let's keep driving it down. Now keep in mind, we're not spending any money here. This is stuff I already had. That's why you don't throw anything away. And guess what I just did? Like I said, if I goof it up, I'll show you. Alright, let's start all over again. Let's get out another one. Alright, let's see what happened. The shim actually went past that shoulder. It's just a little bit too big because I don't have a metric bit that size. Guess where I'm going? To the hardware, because this is going to be a very important tool. I'll get that off in a minute. Unless I can drill the size smaller and sort of ream it out, maybe. I don't know. We'll see. We're not done. I'll be back. Alright, let's get started on the bit grinding jig, the machine again. Yesterday I had a bad camera malfunction again, and I have recently put something on order to fix that. I've got most of what I had yesterday, but I'll show you my goof up. I've got some of that, and I'll show you. I got frustrated with it. I broke another one of these. I've got this one and one more, so I'm running out of options here. The thing about it is, this shaft right here is 13 millimeters. I checked it with the calipers. I need a 13 millimeter hole in here, okay, for it to slide on there. Now the shim I put on there, it pushed all the way past this little shoulder because it was too big. I had it drilled 9/16. So what I did, I went to the hardware, had a talk with Kevin up there, the local hardware, and I got a barrel nut here, coupling they call it. Now I got it threaded on both sides, threaded all the way through. And what I'm going to do is take a 1/2 inch, which is as close as I can get to this, because there's no 13 millimeter drill bits anywhere in this town, not even at the Harbor Freight, which their drill bits are one and dones anyway. But I've never needed a metric drill bit, but now that I watch you all machine guys, I see some things I made before and had problems because the hole wasn't right. So now I need a set of metric drill bits. If anybody has an old set that's in good shape, let me know. We'll talk. Anyway, what I'm going to do is drill this out to a half, which is really within a tenth or so. And then I'll take the Dremel and clean it out if I have to. And I want to slide this up on here with the shim back here. Then, got a nut, a bolt I mean. Slide that through and hook it here like this, and put another shim in it back here. And I'm going to make the shims out of some little thin aluminum that I've got. As long as I can get this hole right, it'll work. Now the shims, I may be able to press it on there. Now I won't be able to press this though because I'm scared it'll break. Anyway, I'm going to set this up in the little vise for the drill press. I'm going to drill out whatever this distance is right here to the shoulder. Pardon me. And we're going to give it another go. Now once I get it slid on there, excuse me, depending on how tight it is, I'll probably drill a hole right here and put a set screw in there. I've got a whole packet of set screws. There we go. That's what we're going to do. Alright, we're going to nibble these threads out of here. This 1/2 inch bit. See how that goes. Oh, hang on, safety glass. Don't want stuff in my eyeballs. This bit is extremely dull, which is why the reason for building the whole project. A little bit more oil on there. Oh, get off of there. Alright, let's get us a measurement. See that? I'll try to get a measurement. Now it was 0.63. That's not going to work, is it? Anyway, that don't look deep enough. We'll deepen her up just a little bit more. There. Let's see, let's go a little bit deeper. I'm going to make sure that I get deep enough so this can sit up against that shoulder or the shim, whichever one I decide to do. I may not put a shim in it. We'll just see how true it goes, how it runs. believe that's going to be deep enough. Now we'll go over here and try it out. Alright, I've got this drilled out. I took a measurement with my calipers, and it's 0.49, 1/10 off from a 1/2 inch. Now this shaft here has got to match that. I thought about going in here with the Dremel and try to make this bigger, but I don't think I'm going to be able to keep it even close to being square doing it that way. Now this shaft right here at this shoulder, there's a little relief right there, and I measured that, and that is exactly 1/2 inch. So what I'm going to try to do, I'm going to turn the machine on and try to work this down. And I've got this is 80 grit, a used 80 grit 1x30 belt I cut in half. And we'll see if I can take this off down to there. If this won't do it, I'll try a file, but I'll go real slow and careful and see if that'll work. Let's move this out of the way a little bit. I'm gonna go ahead and show you what I'm doing here. Oh, safety glasses. Alright, that's taking some of it off, I can tell. It's going to be slow going, but that's alright too. Alright, let's take us a measurement. Okay, 0.53. That did not take it down very much. It was 0.54. So let's grab a file and try it, see if we can take some more off. Okay, we're going backwards, hang on. Let's move it around this way. This file's not cutting that way. Move the camera. Y'all bear with me here. This is all new stuff to me. There we go. Let's take us another measurement here. Same thing. Let's get a different file. Hang on, I want to keep working on this. I can see that little lip right there. And this is very, very hardened type stuff right here. So let me get a different file and we'll see it here again in a minute. Alright, it's taking a little bit of time, but let's take us a measurement now. 0.49, just like between 4.9 and 5. It's right there. Alright, now it feels like it wants to start in there. Now this is very, very, very rough in here where I drilled it. The ideal thing was to take a reamer and put in there, but I don't have any reamers. So I'm going to take some of this sandpaper. Now this is much, much softer metal than that. I'm going to try to roll me up a little piece and barely go in there just a little bit. Like that. Alright, I think that's going to work. Now I think I can't press it in there, but I think I can tap that on there. I may polish this out just a little bit more, but anyway, I'll get it on here and set up to this little shoulder right here. I feel a spot right there I better take off. But coming right along. Alright, there we go. I wasn't able to get it all the way up to the shoulder, but it's not going any further without me just wailing on it with the hammer, and I don't want to do that. It's not coming off of there, so I don't think we need a set screw. Let's take a look at it, and it looks, by eye, it looks pretty true. Good enough for what we're doing anyway. Now the next step. Got that done. This will go here. And this will go like this. Just hand tight. That looks like it's... We're not worried about this surface here. We're worried about the side of the surface. Looks pretty good. But what I need to do now, that's not going to be long enough. I got another one, I think. I'm going to cut me a shim, or washer, if you will, to go here. Unless I can find one big enough. Just to set it flat against there. And the same thing over here. Now, let me get the hunting washers, or if we have to, we can make a couple. I don't have any washers to fit, so I'm just going to make a couple. I'll just cut this one out with a hole saw, and then I'll drill this to a 1/2 inch, and we should have us 2 washers. This is just some scrap aluminum. That I had laying around here. Get off of there. There. That's hot. Alright, we clean these up and drill the other holes, and we'll be back in business. Almost done. Alright, let's see how we've done on our little project here. found another bolt. I had to cut it off. Make sure it was long enough but not too long. Now we're going to take the washers that we made, or shims if you will. Hey, see what I'm doing now? May have been confusing before, but let's see. I hope we cut enough of it off. I might not cut enough off, because it's going to jam up against that shaft like a jam nut. Alright, we've got quite a bit of wobble. Right in here. Alright, that's the wheel itself. Alright, I know what that is. Let's go ahead and correct that. Because this is, let's see, that is that looks pretty true. What I think it is, the bolt here, see there, it's got some play in there. That needs to be tighter in there. Up here on this shoulder. I think I'm going to get some Teflon tape and wrap it here at the end. Take up that slack. Let's see what happens. And there we go. Got it figured out. Except for the fact that I put it on backwards. The flattest side is the other side, not this side. So now what I did to take that slack up, these aluminum washers were sinking into it, this little divot right here. So I took a couple of heavy steel washers and put there. They're not exactly the right size, but they seem to be working okay. This is the side I want out right here. Oh, see there? Now I'm putting this in backwards. I'm just backwards today. There we go. Now if I ever need to or want to, I can easily change this grinding wheel out. And there's not going to be tons of pressure put on this. A lot of speed. This thing is not all that fast. Well, now it's not straight. Hang on. We'll figure it out. No comment. Alright, this is the last grinding wheel, and we got it pretty square. It's got a little bit of wobble to it, but nothing's going to hurt anything. Now I'm going to take in, this is a dressing tool to dress grinding wheels. This actually came with my big Delta grinder. And we'll talk about that grinder here in just a minute, because I know some of y'all are going to have a question about that. So I'm going to show you just a little bit. Now chances are I won't use this edge here, but I'm going to go ahead and clean it up, make it look pretty good. And this is how this thing works. I'm going to come over here to this face, because this the flattest face is on the other side, but I couldn't get it to run true over there. tool's getting really hot. I'm gonna let it cool off a little bit. See, it's got just a little bit of a wobble, but I think it's going to be just fine. It's not going to be a continuous run all day long tool. That wasn't very smart, was it? There. Now I'll just continue to clean up this face a little bit. It looks worse than it is because I got these washers off, but so I got it flat, a little bit of a round there. I'll just keep working on it a little bit. And this part is done. Now I forgot when I ordered the grinding, the attachment jig. I didn't think it was going to be here for a few days, but I got an email this morning that said it should be delivered today, this afternoon. So if it comes in time before I close the shop, we'll finish it up. I'm going to mount it somewhere, probably back over there, closer to the drill press, but we'll see. Pretty cool. Take a bunch of junk and make a useful tool. I like it.